I I know that we have a range of folks here who in their kind of practice of yoga. Karen is a wonderful, wonderful teacher who will accommodate and does modifiers. So whatever your experience is, um, please, do what your body will allow you to do. This is an active practice. Karen is very active. So if you think that you will be meditating for the next hour, you won't. But please do what your body will allow. And Karen is wonderful with modifiers. So thanks, everyone, and enjoy. And thank you, Karen, so much for this.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. So we're going to actually start off lying down on our mats, nailing the first yoga pose for sure. So just a little moment to yourselves with one hand on the heart and one hand on your belly, just letting your long, slow, deep breaths move right through you. See here if you could just scan yourself head to toe, noticing first which parts of you feel amazing today. And then scan again, notice which parts of you might feel a little stiff, stuck, tight, maybe not so energetic. Breathe right into those spaces. And then we could let our eyes float open. Reach your arms way overhead so the backs of your hands come right to your floor. And then on the exhale, we're going to take our knees right into our body. Give them a hug. Squeeze the thighs in, and we'll circle around going in one direction. And then in the opposite direction. So just like there's a salad plate underneath your lower back, just feel that move all the way around that circle. So here, let's draw this right thigh in. Keep the right thigh in and extend the left leg all you can. Pull the right thigh in as close to your chest as you can while you slide your left heel away from your body. So that should give you a nice little tug of effort in the left quadricep, probably in the hamstring, maybe in the right hip. And then we'll hold on behind that right thigh, curl the toes towards the shin, and start to extend the leg towards the ceiling as much as you can while keeping the thigh as close to your belly as you can. Yes. So, we get a lot of tightness here in the hamstring when we work and when we're sitting to work. So, of course, we might feel this one. Rotate the ankle all the way around. And then in the opposite direction. And then from here, we'll rebend this right leg, pull it in nice and tightly. Take it into a twist. So you let that right leg cross over your body towards the left side of your mat. You can reach out your left arm and look over it. Yes, so you just keep dialing your hip bones towards the left. We'll spend a few breaths here. So imagine that your breaths are coming and going right out of this outer right hip, maybe into the lower back, wherever you feel the most sensation. Imagine the breaths are coming and going out of that space. One more deep inhale. And on your exhale, you can bring your leg back to center and just slide it out. So notice the difference between the right and left leg already. So already you're feeling the benefits of your practice today, just in the first few moments. Let's grab the left leg and pull it into the chest. The thigh is going to go as close into the body as you can. While the right leg's extending, you could press your right foot away from your body. You probably get a nice big stretch right here in the hip flexor and maybe in the quad. And then you're going to extend your leg. You guys stay there. I'm going to let somebody else in. So we're extending that left leg up. And circling out that left ankle. Amazing. And then in the opposite direction. Okay. Doesn't that feel great? All right, so here we're going to take this left leg, bend it, take it into a twist. The left leg goes across the body to the right side of your mat, and you're breathing right into wherever you feel it the most. So it's not strange for these twists or any of the poses that we do today to feel different on one side than they do on the other. So don't be alarmed. That's just human nature. That's just how it goes. I know there's some advanced yogis here, and you guys know that yoga helps us match right to left sides, helps us be as strong and as open right to left sides as possible. Couple more breaths right here. Lovely. And then we're going to come back to center. Hold on behind the thighs. Yep. We're going to build a little bit of momentum, lift the tailbone, lower it, and then eventually we'll rock ourselves up to a seat. It may take a few tries to get there. We're just gonna have a regular cross-legged seat. And if you need to, if this is hard for you to sit like this, you're just gonna pop a pillow underneath your glutes. Hands can come right down onto your knees just like this. And let's circle the shoulders up, back, and down. Keep circling them all the way around. Mhm. You might even hear your shoulders moving around a little bit. And then your right hand is going to come down to your mat. Your left arm will reach up and over your ear. So we're getting a stretch along our left side body. And you can deepen the stretch by really pressing in to the left glute. You'll feel all this stuff right here start to open. Should feel pretty nice. You can push through your middle finger a little more if you want more space. And then rotate the chest towards the floor. And then inhale, open your chest towards the ceiling. Rotate towards the floor. Lift up towards the ceiling. Yes, one more just like that. And then we'll carry it right on over to the other side. Pressing through the middle finger, really gluing that right glute down into the floor. Aim the chest down. Spin it up and down and up. One more time, we'll spin down and then up. So from here, let's carry ourselves back to center. We're going to take a non-habitual cross. So this is our habitual cross, the way we landed. Just go ahead and take the other shin and put it in front. All right. So you might feel a little stretch already just going into that non-habitual cross. So from here, let's take our right hand, put it behind your head. Press both glutes way down into the floor and lift your spine as if you're being suction cupped to the ceiling by the crown of your head. And then here, we're going to open our chest towards our right wall. And then on the exhale, we'll take this right elbow across towards our left knee, maybe even touching the left knee. Inhale, spin your chest open to the right. Exhale, wring out the waist as you take that right elbow to the left leg. And then we get one more turn and come back to center. Simply switch. Open the chest to the left and then spin. So with a nice long spine the whole time. So here we're just spiraling around. We have this axis of energy top to bottom. So in this position, it's from our glutes that are touching the floor all the way up to and through the crown of the head. We spin around that axis all day, and especially right here when we're doing this work. All right. So coming back to center, hands come onto the floor. Slide out only as comfortably as you can. So maybe you stop just a couple inches out. Maybe there's some of you that can put your chest right on the floor. Just see what happens. It's all perfect. Just stay in this moment. Feel the breaths cruise right through your body. And then we can roll right over our shins and we'll come into our table pose. That's just hands and knees like we're crawling. Mhm. Table pose. Round your back up towards the sky and then stick the tailbone up and look forward. Mhm. So round the back up, you'll probably feel the shoulder blades pull away from each other. And then when you tilt the tailbone up and lift the collarbones, you'll feel your abs stretch. Maybe you'll get some work across the front of your collarbones. One more just like that. And then I want to take this position into a crouching table pose. So all that is, and feel free to drop your knees if you ever need a break from this. All that is lifting the knees just an inch above your mat. So the shoulders are staying over the wrists and the knees just came off the mat an inch. So it turns it into a nice core exercise, which I love for you guys because that helps protect our lower backs. You're welcome to stay here. If you want to add on a little bit more dynamic effort, you can step your feet off the right side of your mat, keeping your knees just an inch off the floor. Maybe stepping back to center and over to the other side. One more time, center, right, center, left. Yeah. And then we come back to center, drop the knees, regular table, and then point your toes. We'll shift back, child's pose. Oh, so this is a favorite. Anytime we're doing something today that feels a little effortful or not for you, feel free to take this child's pose just like this. So while we're here, visualize your fingers and your tailbone and try to grow that space between your fingers and your tailbone. How about 3 more of the biggest breaths you've had all year? Really big shirt stretching inhales. And then you could feel your clothes getting loose on your exhales. And then keeping the glutes low, we're going to walk both hands off the right side of our mat, crossing the left hand over the right. Keeping that left glute pressing down into the left heel. And then we'll switch. Hands get to walk off the right side of the mat. Left hand crosses over the right. And then here we'll come back to center. Shift forward into that table. Tuck your toes under. You're going to lift your hips up, coming into downward facing dog. Feel free to keep a bend in the knees and sway the tailbone around in there. Big, 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 gorgeous breaths. So here, let's go ahead and take our right leg up into the air. Lift your right leg. And then step your foot in between your hands for your low lunge. Okay, so it may take a few tries to get there. You may have to hook it. You may have to come down onto your knee and then wiggle the leg up. It's fine. It's all perfect. Lift that back knee off the floor and we'll rock forward and back, forward and back. Mhm. See here if you can pull your collarbones way the heck forward and unshrug your shoulders. And then we'll lift up our right arm, put it on our right knee, put your hand on your right knee, and spin your belly button towards your right inner thigh. So that'll give you a nice stretch here. It'll give you a nice little twist in the waist. If you want some more effort, all you'll do is lift up this right arm towards the sky. And I'd love for you, if you have your right arm lifted, really lift it. Really press 5 pounds of weight into each fingertip. You can also try to pick up that left knee pit towards the ceiling so the back of the knee gets to lift. We'll enjoy this for a couple more breaths. And then bring the hands on down. Drop your back knee to the floor. Here's another hamstring stretch. Walk the hands back to support you. The front leg will straighten and we'll sway this tailbone side to side. So the leg doesn't have to go all the way straight. Just go for a stretch right into the back of the leg. Now, if your leg is straight and you're looking for more stretch, here's what you'll do. Move your collarbones forward, pull your heart that way, and maybe even walk the hands off to the right of the right leg while you're curling your toes back towards your shin. That'll up the effort. I'd love for you all, no matter where we are, to stay nice and soft in the jaw and the shoulders here. Okay, one more big inhale. And then the hands come on either side of this front foot again. We're going to bend the knee so the foot comes onto the floor. Pick up the back leg. We're going to walk out to this supported warrior three pose. So the hands can stay on the floor if you want, and certainly you can bend this standing leg. I'd love for you to try to equally distribute your weight across the whole sole of that standing foot. Now, for those of you who have done a bunch of yoga, you might enjoy holding onto your ankle with one or both hands. Go ahead and see how that feels on your body, and know that if you're wiggling and wobbling and falling over, that's perfect too. We're just playing our edge. I love to hold on to the leg and see all those inner workings, feel all those inner workings in the ankle and the calf. Couple more breaths just like that. And then we could come on back to our low lunge. Come right on back to your low lunge. So you land in your low lunge and we'll step back to downward facing dog. Welcome. And then we'll get to do the whole thing on the other side. So our left leg gets to lift up high. And then we'll step that left foot in between the hands and rock forward and back. We can take this left hand right to the left knee, spin the belly button towards the left inner thigh. Right. You can try to also bring this right shoulder as close to the left knee as you can. And if you're looking for more effort, just simply unfurl this left arm and try to touch the ceiling. Really make it an effortful reach. Inhaling and exhaling. You got it. Hold for another breath. And then we'll bring the hands back down to the floor. You ready to get that hamstring stretch again? We're just going to drop this back knee on the floor and then straighten through the front leg, walking the hands back to support. So sometimes when we go into high sensation poses, we round the shoulders up and like clench the jaw. But if we can try to stay isolated just in the area that's working, so go ahead and let the hamstring have the effort, but keep the shoulders and jaw and other places where you normally carry stress. It could even be in your mind. Keep all those nice and loose. So I bet there's a few of you having an easy time of it now. So here's how to make it more intense if you need that, only if you need it. You're going to walk the hands over to the left of the left leg and curl those left toes back towards your shin, pulling the collarbones out. Yep. All righty. So here, come on back to that low lunge. We're going to put this foot back on the floor, bending the leg. Pick up the back leg, walking the hands out to our supported warrior three. That's this one, where we're just lifting up the right leg, standing on the left leg. Fingers can be on the floor. Standing leg can be as bent as you need it to be. And for a balanced challenge, you can hold on to the leg with one or both hands and maybe notice all those inner workings that are happening to help us stay upright. And then we get to end up back into our low lunge and step back to your downward facing dog. I'm going to spin so I don't have to have my back to you, but you can feel free to stay facing the same place where you are. So this time, let's lift up the right leg and see if we can bend it and try to kick our right heel towards our left glute. Look underneath your right armpit at the ceiling and dial your hips open. Yeah, so this is a little bit more effort. And how about we try to take the right knee as close to the right arm as we possibly can? Mhm. Maybe even make contact. So let's step the right foot in between our hands. This time we'll come on up to a nice high lunge. So this one can be wobbly for people. Here's a tip. If you heel toe your right foot towards the outside of the right side of your mat, the right foot, it'll just broaden your base. So the left foot's towards the left, the right foot is towards the right, and then you're going to be nice and balanced. Arms can extend. So here we can inhale, straighten through both legs, really reach towards the ceiling. Just give the full body a nice stretch. And then on your exhale, take the arms wide, bend through the front leg, and perhaps touch your hands underneath your front thigh. Inhale, open up. You can even reach the hands back behind you for a chest stretch. And then exhale, tap underneath this front leg. Inhale, lift. Last time. Exhale, we'll tap, and then the thumbs can come to our heart. Take this left elbow to the outside of the right leg, and your hands can come together like this for a twist. And then let's bring the thumbs right up to the heart. So I want to try another balance challenge with you. If we fall standing up with our feet together. I love to practice falling standing up because that's a great reflex to have, right? So thumbs can come to your heart. I'm going to back up so I don't bump into my tree. And we'll just stand on the right leg. Straightening through that left leg. You might be wiggling and wobbling, no problem. Use a tiny detail along your floor to gaze at. And again, when you fall, just fall standing up with your feet together at the top edge of your mat. I'm coming out of it now. If you need another moment in that pose, you go ahead. All right. So once you land standing, just rock into the heels and flare the toes. Try to put your pinky toes on your mat first, and then let the rest of the toes follow, smallest to largest. And again, rock into the heels, flare the toes. Pinky toes go down first, rest of the toes follow, smallest to largest. Rise high on your toes, lift the heels, lift the arms. It's a little bouncy, but it's all good. And then here, we'll just swan dive down, drop the heels, drop the hands, and walk on back to downward facing dog. All right, so now we get to do all that on the other side. Left leg gets to lift, bend the knee, and try to dial the hips towards the left. You're going to peek underneath your left armpit at your ceiling and try to kick this left heel towards your right glute. How yummy is that? And then let's take this left knee all the way to the left arm, as high on the left arm as you possibly can. Press your palms into the floor. And then we'll land that left foot right in between our hands and rise on up to our high lunge. There it is. And again, you can bring your left foot towards the left edge of your mat and your right foot towards the right edge of your mat, and that'll help you be nice and firm in your foundation. Inhale, straighten through your legs. The more you scissor your thighs towards each other, the more muscular opening you're going to get. And then on your exhale, you can tap your hands together underneath your front leg. Inhale, lift, stretch. exhale, bend that front leg deeply, tap. Last one. And then hold your hands neutral at your heart. This right elbow is going to come around to the outside of the left leg. So we're in a twist again, spiraling around that axis. I love this twist because it really gives us some information about how we're breathing. See here if you can inhale so deeply you feel your belly really press into your thigh. Feel it firmly smush it. And then as you exhale, feel your belly retreat. All right. So we're going to come back upright. Check out that warrior three. See how our balance feels again. Thumbs can come to the heart, hop the back leg in, and then just gently lift it. Just focusing on one point. And then we'll take our time here. Go ahead and allow the wobble to happen. When we fall, we'll fall standing up. And I'm going to stand up here. Feel free to take your time enjoying that pose if you like. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is clasp the hands behind the back. So I have my hands fully interlaced like this behind my back. See if you can get that to happen for you. And then we'll lift the shoulders up, back, and down a few times. Circle them around. And to intensify that, you can lift your hands off your back body and squeeze those upper arms towards each other. That should give you a nice big opening right across the front of your chest where we typically get tight when we're using the computer a lot. Try to give yourselves your very best posture here, pressing the feet into the ground, pulling the crown of the head up towards the ceiling, and that might make you lift your arms off your back body a little more. And then here we'll bend the knees and come right in to a forward fold, letting the arms continue overhead. So here you'll notice if you shift more weight into the balls of your feet, you'll get a bigger pickup in those hamstrings, which will probably feel absolutely lovely. And then here, flop the hands down to the ground. Bend your knees like you're sitting in a chair, and then we'll pull the arms up. If that makes you straighten your legs, that's fine. Otherwise, stay down deep like you're looking for a chair. And then we'll pick up our left foot. The left heel comes off the floor. For some of you who balance is with you today, you can go ahead and take that left heel all the way up towards your glute. And then we're going to send this left leg way down towards the back of our mat, coming into our warrior two legs. So what is that? I'll tell you. We have our right foot pointing exactly towards the front edge of our mat. And the left foot is slightly angled in on this angle. And we've got a full leg's length in between our feet. And we're going to bend this right knee. Now, you want to have the right knee and ankle in line, or the knee is a little behind the ankle. I just want you to avoid this so you don't have any pressure on your knee. I just don't want that to happen. I don't want the knee to extend over the ankle. Okay, so a big long lead up to this nice open pose. Here, shrug the shoulders up towards your ears and then drop those shoulders way down like your armpits are being magnetized towards your hips. Shrug again and then drop those armpits. Last time, shrug and then drop. Lift this right hand up and we'll dip back into a reverse warrior. You guys stay here. I'm going to let another one of your coworkers in. While you're reaching up here, you might find as more force you put in this top hand, you might be able to bend the right leg some more. See how that goes. Hi there. And then we're going to put our right forearm on our right thigh. This left shoulder will circle around, up, back, and down. You guys stay here. So the right forearm's on the right thigh. The left shoulder is circling up, back, and down. And if you're looking for some more work, you can lift this left arm right up and over your ear like this. Now, there's a few of you I know that practice yoga often. This is a nice big heaping helping of effort. Only take it if you feel like you want it, okay? Elbow is going to come off the thigh while the rest of the body stayed in position. Just the elbow pops off the thigh. And if you want more, you can extend the arms forward, right? Try to make even more space between these fingertips and the pinky side of the back foot. Whatever pose you're in, let's hold it for another 2 big breaths. And then we'll get to come right on up to that warrior 2 again. Let's bring the hands down on either side of the front foot. And we'll step back to a downward dog just to stretch the back of our bodies out. Press the hips up and back. Go ahead and enjoy that. Now, I'd love for you to try to let your heels gravitate towards the floor here. And if they touch the floor, try to press them harder into the floor and pick up your toes. It'll give you a big effort in the backs of the calves. And then neutralize your downward dog again. Look forward at your hands. Bring the feet up in between the hands and bend the knees like you're looking for a chair. Yeah, just like we did before. Keeping the legs as bent as you possibly can. You'll lift the hands up to your heart and then pick up the right heel. And if that feels good, go ahead and pick the right heel up all the way towards your glutes. You're squeezing the knees into each other. This will help us transition to our warrior 2 pose. So left foot's all the way towards the front of the mat. Right foot is way back. Left leg's bent. Left toes pointing forward. Right toes slightly kicked in like that. Go ahead and take a moment to adjust yourselves. It's so worth it to get into the proper position, then everything feels wonderful. Okay, extend those arms. This time, I'd love for you to spin the inside of your biceps towards the ceiling, right? So we could rotate just from the wrists, but I want you to go right where the pec and shoulder meet. So I'm going to say rotate your whole bicep towards the ceiling and then rotate the whole bicep back behind you. A couple times just like that. One more. And then neutralize the hands. We can upturn this left palm and dip back into a nice reverse warrior. Yes. So the goal here, I guess, is to couple of things. To breathe. We don't want to hold our breath ever in yoga. And to be present, what are we feeling? What are we thinking? What's going on mentally and physically? And then I'd love for you to think about getting longer between your hip and your rib on this left side. One more big inhale. And then we get to take the left arm down to the left leg and circle this right shoulder out, up, back, down. So if you'd like a little more effort, that's when we lift this arm up, really reaching away from our body. As a matter of fact, if you press the hands up, you'll feel your body weight become less on the floor and on this grounded elbow. So by reaching up, it's almost like we're becoming like a child or a dog that wants to be lifted versus a child or a dog that doesn't. I mean, we felt the difference, right? Those creatures can make themselves very heavy if they want to. So see if you can make yourselves light. And then if you feel like it, reach the top arm off the thigh and then possibly forward, making a big long line of effort between the pinky toe side and the outstretched hands. Just take up more space in your body, in your room, in the whole world. Go ahead and feel that. Oh, one more big inhale. And then we get to come on out of it. We're going to go right back down to the floor. Hands frame the front foot and step back to downward dog. And that should feel quite good. So here, I'd love for us to take a pigeon pose. That's Mary Angela's favorite. So here we are. The right knee is going to come up close to the right wrist. And the right foot is going to come somewhere near the left wrist. And then you'll slide the left leg back and come on down onto your elbows. So that's one way to do it. Now, if there's some of you with knee injuries or discomfort somewhere, here's how you're going to do it. It's just as effective. We just don't have to have our whole body weight on the leg. So if that first situation is too much for you, you're going to take the right ankle, cross it over the left leg like so, and then interlace your hands behind the left leg and rock around a little bit on your back. Okay? Both are perfect. For those of you in your face down pigeon pose, you can try to lengthen your collarbones away from your belly button. You can also try to clench into that left glute if you need more sensation. Just see. Inhale and exhale. Now, whether you're facing down or on your back, please have your jaw soft. This pigeon pose opens up the hips, and the hips and the jaw are on the same meridian, energetic meridian. So if our jaw's clamped, it's hard for our hips to open and vice versa. You may notice sometimes if your hips feel tight and you wake up feeling like you've been chewing gum all night, like that's a thing. The jaw and the hips are totally connected. So see here if you can keep your jaw soft so you can allow those hips to just unlock and open. We'll be here for a few more breaths. I'll give you some silence to just marinate in. All right, let's transition to the other side. So if you're facing down like this, you're just going to put your hands on the floor, step back to your downward dog. Your left knee is going to come close to the left wrist, left knee close to the left wrist. And the foot's going to go somewhere near the right wrist. Doesn't have to touch at all. And you can melt down onto your elbows. If you're taking this pose on your back, it's this. The left ankle is crossed over the right leg and you're interlacing your hands behind that right thigh. Oh, that feels so good. Again, this is one of those poses where you might feel like you're walking around with the same thing going on in your right hip as you do in your left hip until we get into these positions and it's like, whoa, that's a surprise. I didn't know I felt like that today. Something that's interesting from a pain relief standpoint is I'm mentioning this because I imagine that there's some of you with, lower back issues because, most people who, work in an office have lower back issues at some point. Generally, mostly, I should say, when the lower back has tension, it's because one hip is tighter than the other. Right? So if one hip is tighter than the other, it can strain the lower back because the right side is doing something different than the left side is. So I love this pose for people with lower back stuff, whether it's on the back or face down, because it'll help homogenize what's going on right to left hip. Couple more breaths. Soft jaw. And then let's all meet back in downward facing dog. So those of you on your back, you're just going to roll over. Those of you face down, we're just going to put our hands on the floor and step back to downward dog. And then we'll walk our feet and hands together, bending the knees as much as we need to, of course, rolling up one vertebrae at a time, head coming up absolutely last. Excellent. Yeah, I just want to come peek at the clock. We still have 10 minutes left, thank goodness, because I want to do one of Mary Angela's other favorite poses with you, and that's tree pose. So we can take our right leg and point the right knee out to the right. You can stay just like this with your toes just barely on the ground and your thumbs at your heart, or you can take this leg up to the foot goes to the inner calf, or maybe this foot goes all the way up to the inner thigh. See? And some of you who do tree pose, in your typical yoga practice, you may have it with your heel against the thigh. I always do it with my heel away from the thigh because we were talking about my yoga teacher, Tao Porchon Lynch. She's an absolute legend. That's the way she taught me. So if she lasted till 101 and was a world champion ballroom dancer, after doing yoga since she was 8 years old, I want to do it the way she does it, the way she did it. So see how this pose goes for you. Your heart gets to press into your thumbs. If you're wobbling, no problem. That's all progress. See here, if you've got your hips sticking out to the side, see if you can tuck it under you a little bit, as if someone's pulling up both sides of your rib cage towards the ceiling. And then the other thing when we start to wobble is sometimes we shrug. Just keep those shoulders soft. And then we can go ahead and point this right knee forward. Let the leg drop and just sway around a little bit, hip to hip, foot to foot. Let's take the other side. So we can spin the heel in. Maybe we stay here. Maybe we come here. Maybe we come all the way up to the thigh. Yes. Look at one gazing point. Try to squeeze that right glute underneath you. Try to push the left knee out to the left a little more. And then we get to point this knee forward and then just come right out of the pose. I have one more little wide-legged situation I think you guys will like. So all 10 toes are going to point forward at first. We're going to do our 5-pointed star pose. If anyone walked by, they'd be like, those people are just standing still. We're going to make standing still hard. And then we're really going to relax after. So reach your arms out to the sides. Your arms are parallel to the floor and your feet are pressing into the floor. Now, we're going to squeeze and tense every single muscle, bone, and cell in our body. So push your feet into the floor, squeeze your calves, squeeze your knees, squeeze your thighs, clench them, clench your glutes, clench all the muscles in your hips, squeeze your abs, squeeze your back muscles, really tense the arms, even your fingers, and try to reach the crown of the head towards the ceiling. Unshrug those shoulders. You may be reaching and so hard that you're vibrating here for 3 and 2, and then just collapse right into a soft forward fold. Again, you're bending the knees as much as you want to, always to protect your lower back. You can let the crown of your head just fall towards the floor. Now, I know there's some veteran yogis here today. So if you'd like, if you have your headstand, you're going to go ahead into your headstand. I'm not going to teach it. But if that's something that's in your repertoire, go ahead and enjoy that. Otherwise, we're going to enjoy all the benefits of such an inversion by just letting your head fall towards the floor. So see if, when you're folded like this, you can just open your eyes. I love how we just get a basic change of perspective when we're upside down like this. Everything that was up is down. Everything that is down is up. I love doing these forwards folds when I'm stuck on something in my work day. And a lot of times the issue resolution becomes quite obvious after I've gone upside down a little bit. A couple more breaths here. And then let's bend our knees, spin the toes out a little for comfort, and we'll roll on up again nice and slowly. One more of the yummiest standing poses I know of. It's our coach's stance. So the thighs bend, the legs bend, so the thighs are parallel to the floor as much as they'll go. The hands get to come onto the knees. And this time I do want you to shrug your shoulders. Go ahead and let your shoulders come up towards your ears as much as they possibly can. Now, we're going to leave our lower body just like this. We're just going to twist from the waist up. Go ahead and take your right shoulder towards your left leg. You can look right at your floor. And then we'll switch. One more time each side. And then let's come right on out of that. We're going to get to come down onto the floor again. So make your way however you like down onto your floor. Once you're down, squeeze the knees into the chest like you had them in the beginning. And then we're going to take our final spinal twist together. The right leg is going to get to cross over the left leg at the thigh. And then the legs are going to fall to the left. And you get to gaze to the right. So trying to let your energy come down right into the ground. No need to be strong or muscular or hold yourself up. We're just going into flop mode right now. Take the legs back to center. Simply switch. So the left thigh crosses over the right. Legs fall right. You get to gaze left. So a lot of times at the end of class, we do a Shavasana. It's just a moment of stillness and meditation. If you want to use a mantra today, what do you want to bring yourself in the new year? Is it happiness? Is it peace? Is it love? Think about it. Maybe that could be your mantra, or pick something else. Come onto your backs. So here's where we're going to just make ourselves as comfortable as we possibly can. Move your ponytail, move your shirt wrinkle out of the way, whatever it takes. And you can start to repeat your mantra to yourself while you lie in just a few moments in stillness and silence. Let your body enjoy a universe-supported free fall. For these last few moments, just let yourselves go all the way. And then here, deepen your breath. Let your eyes blink open, reach your arms way overhead. Give your body one last long stretch. And then we can come to one side and help ourselves up to whatever seat in any hand position you like. May all the goodness that you brought yourselves through your practice today stay with you throughout the rest of your day and until we meet again. Namaste. Happy holidays. Happy healthy New Year. Thank you, Mary Angela. Thanks, everybody. Now, if you're feeling a little too relaxed and you need to rebuild your energy for your next meeting, just rub your hands briskly together and shoot the hands up towards the ceiling. That's it. And you can do it one more time.
Thank you, Karen.
Yeah.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, everyone, for participating today. Have a
What an
great
honor.
afternoon. Thank you, Karen, so much.
My
Thank you,
pleasure.
Karen.
Fantastic.
It was
Bye,
awesome.
everyone.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Fantastic.
Thanks,
Feel
Thank
good.
you.
Happy New Year.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Karen.
Thank you. Feel good, everybody.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
You too. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.